So a lot of the people who read this blog, watch the videos that we produce at HubSpot are small business owners or marketers. How do you think that this book that you've written fits into the workplace? I can see that personal branding is something that's very important for somebody who's looking for a job. But what about the people who have a job and are really focused on their job, enjoy it, aren't planning on moving somewhere? Is it important to focus on personal branding?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is that even if you're a superior candidate or if you're one of the top people at work, people have to know about you. And so what I talk about in the book is that communicate is after create. So once you create your brand, you want to communicate it to people. So as an entrepreneur, personal PR, you want to get your name out there to traditional and new media bloggers. But within a corporation, you want to brand yourself so your manager, your director, people know what you're doing. You don't want to brag to them. You want to help your other teammates become better and use your special skill set in order to create better projects and get better results. Because the results you get at work is king for your brand, because you use that in your resume, you can use that in anything. And to say you increase sales by 20% or 200% is really going to be substantial for you. And it's going to make a real difference between your salary today and your salary in a year.
So how do you differ from marketing you're doing for the company and marketing you're doing for yourself? I mean, isn't that a difficult thing to kind of balance? And how do you handle that?
Definitely. I mean, I've been doing this for like a year now, so I have kind of a routine in place. For instance, I'll get home from work, I'll do 2 blog posts. One will be an interview for someone, a successful business person. And then I'll do another one, so I'll do 2 at once. The second one, I'll post when I wake up in the next morning. And then I get to work, and then it's straight EMC. But the key is, for EMC, is that I'm always ahead of the curve. Because I'm always in the social media world, I'm always blogging, I'm always networking, I'm always commenting, I know who the players are for everything. Plus, I want to keep EMC ahead. Because we're a tech company, we're perceived as someone who's a great innovator. So I have to always be in this world, whether the new technology is out, how can I facilitate this across EMC internally, and then create that external presence for the company.
So do you find places where there's a conflict there? It makes sense to me that you're ahead of the curve with EMC because you're doing all of this, but are there places where there's conflict? And how do you balance that?
Sometimes. I mean, what I tell people is that I think you need 2 different, for business cards and how you conduct yourself in business, you need 2 different business cards. So I carry around an EMC business card.
So literally and figuratively?
Yeah, and then I carry around one, and I just got these made. It's a personal brand business card, and I recommend to people on my blog that you should have your picture on your business card because that's how people remember you. And then, to promote my book, I have on the other side a Me 2.0.
And so do you also have an EMC business card
correct.
as well?
And the key is that you have to respect the fact that your company's paying you in certain times, 9 to 5, however long you work. And so if they're paying for you to go to a networking event or to speak or anything like that, you should be passing on your business card. You're marketing for the company. You represent the company. Now, even if outside of the company, you're marketing yourself, you have a book, whatever you want to do outside of your company, you still work for the company. So the second you receive a job offer from the company, accept it, they endorse your brand. So you carry their brand for life. Now, even if you move to a different company, you still worked at that company. So that company said, he's good enough or she's good enough to work for our company. So we will let you use EMC in your title or on your bio page.
So look at this from a company's perspective for a second. On the one hand, I think that probably as EMC thought, it's great to have somebody who's so engaged and so focused on social media and has such a big network to bring to the table. On the other hand, I would imagine that a lot of managers, a lot of people running companies, a lot of marketers might be worried about somebody who's off doing all these things on their own a lot of the time, and even if it happens when you're off the clock, it kind of seems like it might interfere. What do you say to those kinds of managers?
Well, I'm in a different type of situation. Now, I got my job through everything I was doing outside of work. So that's like the ultimate excuse, right? But For someone else who's trying to do this, I mean, you have a lot of people work at this company who are building personal brands or getting involved in Twitter blogs, everything. And the key is that companies are going to be forced to do this.
Yep.
So as the companies that accept it, it's going to help them much more because visibility creates opportunities. And really the key is that, anyone who gets involved in social media is building lists. Twitter, how many followers do you have? Email newsletters, what are your numbers? Facebook even, everything is numbers. And even what I noticed in my company, if we want to do a Facebook campaign or anything, we already have people with the numbers. So you market internally, and it works much better when you have like 30,000+ employees.
Yeah.
You market inside of the company, which helps outside of the company. So imagine this, what would you rather have? A company that has no one on any social networks or no blogs or anything, or a company that has at least 100 people on? You'd want the 100 people because those people can help you market for free just because they work there and they represent the brand and they're willing to help a place that's supporting them.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense. So what kind of advice would you give to somebody who has a small business or they're a marketer, they're not really involved in social media? What would you advise them to do, to get into this world?
I think you have to take baby steps. And I think that depending on your knowledge in this area, one person could develop a private blog and then start blogging on their family just to get used to how it is, and then that could translate into another blog where they talk about more of their business or what you guys do. And what we're doing here is you're talking about different concepts or different tips for people that they can use, and that's how you get the links and everything like that. So that helps you along the way, but you don't have to start off like that. You can start small and get big. For instance, when I first started off, I was in Blogspot, and a lot of people don't know this, but I had a blog called Driven to Succeed, and that was the end of 2006 when I started blogging. The content made sense for the new blog, so I took it and put it into the new blog, but it's still a baby step. Blogger, I think, is terrible. Google probably shut me down for that. But then, I went to WordPress, and it was a nice step up. And then next year, starting in January, I'm going to have it hosted on my domain. So there's different steps you have to take. Jumping right into it when you don't know what you're doing is a waste of time. And plus, the key is you need commitment from people. And that's what I've noticed. That's one of the big things that I preach at work.
Commitment from what type of people? Commitment
from bloggers or people who want to get involved in this space, because you can't blog once or tweet once every 6 months and think you're going to get results. HubSpot, how long have you been blogging?
Year 2.
Very impressive to get over 6,000. Your other devices like the Twitter grader and everything has certainly helped out.
Over 8,000. We're over 8,000.
That's big though, right? And then for someone like me, who's an individual blogger, even though I blog maybe twice a day now, I have like 1,600 and it's taken me 2 years. So it just shows you in perspective, you have to be very patient at the same time. Patient, commitment, passion. You have to love your business. Why are you even in it if you don't enjoy it? So, and it's going to show through your writing, through your videos, if you enjoy it or not, So I get excited when I think of Me 2.0 or personal branding. I mean, this is my life. So it's only natural that I would be involved in this. And social media is so hooked into personal branding now that it only makes sense that I would have a type of position in a company like this.
Yep. Okay. Well, last question I think is what's next? What's on your schedule now? You've finished writing this book, and now what? Or what's your next act?
Next act? Well, I mean, the book, it's a long-term project. I mean, I've been working on it for maybe like a year and a half, 2 years. But the thing is, I've been marketing it since I first started my blog. I mean, that's the key, is any author should definitely start a blog as early as they can to start networking. So I've spent like 2 years networking.
So there are a lot of people waiting for this book to come out because they're subscribed to your blog.
Yeah, and now I have, this is brand new, I write for Mashable now.
Oh, really?
Which is really good. I have my 3rd post coming up sometime this week.
Congratulations.
It's really exciting. Thank you. And then my blog redesign is going to be really state-of-the-art. I'm really looking forward to it, and that's beginning of January.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing that.
And the transition is going to be from me as the solo practitioner to more of a community. And that's the key, is that personal branding is not about you, it's about multiple people, because individuals can't scale.
Yep. That's
really important. And then the book comes out April 7th by Kaplan. It's on Amazon for pre-order now. And the key is, that's a project in itself. That's another year.
Yeah.
And then hopefully there'll be another book and so forth. But we'll just have to see. You gotta, you can have a vision and you can have goals, short-term and long-term, but they should be somewhat rough because life changes so rapidly. I mean, technology, you don't even know what's going to be. Twitter could be gone in another year. You don't know.
What would we do with
Probably
Twitter?
not. It's addictive.
Yeah, no, Twitter. No, Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.